Here's where my trap was set. He's right here across the road. I'm not very happy. Small cat, not very big. Probably this spring's get him taken care of. So what I'll be using to kill this cat is a little 22 cricket. So it's easy to get around, easy to handle, small bullet. And I'm using subsonics so they don't have as much power behind them so it doesn't mess up the fur. Just enough to put them down and be ethical about it. Quick, ethical kill. And this fur's still good. Pretty little cat. Got some nice spots, some thick fur. It's a female. Good catch. So this trap set, I had a homemade drag, nothing fancy. It was down there, along with some thin chain. And it used sponge to keep dirt from funneling down underneath the pan. And so just slide that right underneath the pan. Press it down. So right there's the trigger. And you don't want it to be too light when you're trapping for cats. Because a lot of the time you'll have something like a skunk or a fox come along and step on it. It'll set it off and you'll get them, and that's not what you're looking for. You're wanting a cat. So you're gonna set it a little heavier to where something light won't set it off. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it near the hole, get everything positioned right. Cover that up a little bit. Get that chain in there. You want to get anything out of the way that will cut your chances of catching a cat, such as rocks or sticks that could get in the way. You'll fill it in. You don't want it to be too deep, so you're going to want it to be right underneath the surface. So fill this in, maybe go deeper. All right, so now we are going to move this down. Because that's about where we want it on depth wise, so we're going to start covering it up. Okay, so I got my trap mostly covered. So now what I'm going to do to get a fine layer on top, I'm using a sink strainer. Fill it up with this dirt, softer dirt, mixed in with some rocks. I'm gonna just go over and get it covered. And the reason I do this is just to keep rocks from getting in the way That way you have a better chance of not missing. Okay, so I got my trap mostly covered. So now what I'm gonna do to get a fine layer on top, I'm using a sink strainer. Fill it up with this dirt, softer dirt, mixed in with some rocks. I'm gonna just go over and get it covered. And the reason I do this is just to keep rocks from getting in the way. That way you have a better chance of not missing. Get some of those rocks out and dump them out on the side, away from the trap, so they won't be in the way. Okay, so once we get to this point, take a stick and level everything out. Try to make it as smooth as possible. So right there's the pan. You want there to be a very, very thin layer over the pan. So you can hear it a little bit. That's the pan up there, so it's about as deep as I want it. Now I just gotta fill around on the sides, and you can see it's a little lower than the rest. I'm gonna fill in to make it look like there's not a hole there, make it not so obvious. So I'm just gonna take some stuff and fill around the edges. Even out that ground a little bit. So now it's pretty level all around. I want to clean off some of these rocks. So what I did here, I have the trap set right in there. I cleaned it off, took all the rocks off, and I kind of built a barrier around it so something can't come up from the sides and be able to smell the scent. I want them to be funneled in right in here so they'll walk right over the trap. And so what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna take a little stick, I'm gonna find my pan. So my pan is right here, and I'm gonna go right down from the pan, so the end of my pan is right there. I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna find that lip of that trap. So right here is that lip. I'm gonna take a stick and I'm gonna put it right there in front of that lip, because bobcats are very clean animals. They don't like to be stepping on things. They'd rather walk on bare ground. So they're gonna walk over and they're gonna see that, and they're gonna be stepping over that right onto that pan of that trap, setting it off. Another thing I'm gonna be doing, so I'm gonna be finding that it should be right in here. Right there's the edge of the trap. I'm gonna take other sticks and I'm gonna put them right here. And I'm going to be putting it right there. This is going to keep them from straddling the trap and stepping directly on it. Scoot that in a little bit. Alright, so there you go. We got the trap set. I have a hole, it's about 4 inches deep. Between 4 and 6 inches deep right there. And I have a cotton ball in there. It's kind of dirty right now, but I use bobcat urine, and I also use bobcat scat, and I spray the bobcat urine down onto the cotton ball and then onto the scat. And that is my bait, along with one more trick I have. For bobcats, I like to use feathers, and you want to hang it back behind the trap, so roughly right in here, to where bobcat sees that, he's going to come up and he's going to swat at that feather. Bobcats are a lot like house cats. They like to play, so you're going to come up and swat on that feather, and when he swats that feather, he's going to come down and land on that trap. So you want it to be roughly back behind the trap and directly over it. I got my trap set, got my feather hung. Last step, I'm going to take urine, spray a little bit on there, a little bit on the scat. We're good to go. I like to take a little piece of brush and clean off where I was, so I can be able to look and see what else came in if I don't catch it. So I'll be able to see the tracks. And that's it. Hopefully we'll get another one tomorrow.